I also, and Luke and I will probably talk about this a little bit here. I played the Medium. That came to Game Pass on the 28th of January, and I know Luke played it as well. So I don't know if we want to quickly just
what you guys want to just talk about the Medium real quick?
For sure. The Medium is a psychological horror / thriller game made by the team who made the Blair Witch video game. It's pretty good. I really like it. I haven't beat it yet, so I'm still trying to figure out where things are headed. But as far as a story, like the story so far and the tone of the game, I'm really digging it. I don't typically play these kinds of games, but this one has me wanting to go back a lot. Like I really want to get back onto it and play it. I'm looking forward to finishing that game this week.
That's awesome. Luke, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I also played it. I also beat it. First, real quick pro about this game for me is it's short. It's not super long. I think max is out probably at 20 hours, just depending on how long some of the puzzles and
how smart or
how quickly can you
unintelligent
figure
I am
things
in
out.
Figuring out puzzles.
Yeah.
How quickly?
How long did it
take
take
to
you?
Google?
Yeah. The puzzles aren't super difficult. I felt like a lot of times all of a sudden it's be like, oh, are you serious? I missed that right there. Because a lot of the game is just kind of picking things up and you move forward. It's extremely linear. It's kind of like watching a really long movie, but you get to control the main character, which is also another thing I loved about it. This is my favorite type of game. Linear. This is the one way you can go. Story video game. I love games like that. I feel like you can do a lot of really cool character work, and you can have better writing in your game when you do that. Like that's why I like The Last of Us. I loved the story, and I loved the ending. I thought it was really, really cool. The aesthetic of the game it gives off these horror vibes, but the game isn't scary. It's really just creepy.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about like
an environment thing.
Yeah, it feels marketed very horror-y, but you're saying it's not so much jump scare horror as much as it is just atmospheric.
Yeah, it's very atmospheric.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
Like you'll be kind of sneaking around these spots, and maybe this voice will be kind of talking to you. It's kind of like, oh, I don't really like that voice talking to me.
Did you play it with headphones?
Yes.
Yeah, I did too. I saw a little message pop up. It's like, this game's better played with headphones. And I was like, putting them bad boys on.
And if somebody picks up this game, I would strongly recommend they do that, because it will really help distinguish where enemies are.
Yes.
When they're around you. And another thing I liked about this game was there's no action. This isn't an action game. You don't have weapons.
I was going to get into that, yeah.
You have one defense attack, but it's really only to get you through blocked areas.
Oh. Yep. Okay. It's for environmental usage, more or less.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, and I thought that was really cool. Most video games are like, oh, well, here's the action shooting part of it, or here's your sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's your big set piece. It's not that.
Yeah, and I really appreciated that. It took a video game in a really different direction. The other kind of like the main part about the entire game is you are a medium, and part of you is in the real world, but you can also go into the spirit world. And there's parts of the game where you're in the real world, and then you can transfer to the spirit world, but there's also times where you're in both. Yep. So you have to walk around a room, and it's like, oh, I can go through this door, but on this side it's blocked, so I can't get through. So on the spirit world, you have to figure out how to unblock it while doing stuff in the real world, and it kind of messes things up, and you have to work through both rooms. Like it's the same room, but they're two completely different places.
And it's so cool how you're moving around the same room in both frames. Like there's moments where you cannot be in one frame, but for the most part, when those things pop up, you're playing in both frames. Like, and I was going to ask you, Luke, the first couple times you come across that, I found myself looking at the spirit world a lot, because it's the new one, right? Like we've been in the real world for so long. So when you get to the first time that happens, you're like, oh, I want to see this. I want to see this. When in reality, you really need to be looking over here because that's going to get you through. It's really cool. It's a really awesome game, and it looks fantastic.
Yeah. It really does.
Yeah, it's made only for the new consoles.
Generation.
So, and I think it's one of the first ones to come out that way. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm really digging it. Luke, did it take you close to 20 hours to beat? Because the average length of people beating it, like that's being recorded, is like 8 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the average how long to beat has it at 8, and like completionist has it at 10. Like it's real short.
I'm maybe giving myself a lot of grace because I played it pretty much all day Saturday, except for in the middle where I watched the little things, and then in the evening I played video games with Brett. So it stinks because there's no way to just look up how long you played something on the Xbox.
Yeah, they need
seems
to do
like
that.
a real simple feature.
Yeah, you could do it on Switch. I don't know why they couldn't add that to Xbox.
So shoot, maybe it is just around 10 hours, which I think is even better.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I feel like I'm about halfway through it, and I played for like 3 hours.
Nice.
Like just from a pacing standpoint, it feels like I'm about halfway.
Yeah, it's not a long game. The other thing about it, and kind of this isn't a con, but it lowers my review from Booyah to fanboy worthy, is first of all the lack of action. Most people want to play action games, and the other part is the fixed-ish camera.
Oh yeah.
I was not expecting this at all, and it's a lot like something like the old Resident Evil games where the camera is just on the wall and you have to go around the room. When you go into a new room, it puts the camera in a different spot.
Interesting.
And the right joystick does nothing.
Yep.
It does nothing. Except there is one thing you can do with it, but you just click.
You know what it feels like, Brett? You know what this game is? It's kind of a love letter to like the old Silent Hill games.
Okay.
Like it plays like Silent Hill. Like honestly, I would almost call it a spiritual successor to Silent Hill, in terms of like Luke saying, the camera's fixed. It feels like an old school computer game, which is kind of cool to me.
Yeah. Huh.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, but it's really, really good. I highly recommend it, especially if you have Game Pass, because it's free.
Yep.
Like you can just download it and play it over a weekend. Yep. My only con for the game is that I had some issues with either HDR or some weird lighting, where in some cutscenes there'd be like speckles all over characters' faces.
Yeah. I'm getting that too.
You just couldn't see anything sometimes. Like if there was a really bright red light, and I'm like, am I supposed to be? Is that on purpose, or am I supposed to see that? And I think it might be HDR issues.
Yeah, I'm getting that too. And you know what it reminds me of? Like at the beginning of the Kong vs. Godzilla trailer, how like the logo has like the color splotches on it. That's what I'm getting when I'm playing it too. And it's usually in like really dark cutscenes, which is really frustrating. Like it looks like a little like prismatic color scheme pops up for a couple seconds. Same thing. So I'm glad I thought it was just me. It was not.
For me, it was really only pretty close to the end.
Oh, really?
There was just this one area that really struggled, and it was like a glare almost. It really reminded me of Nessus in Destiny 2 before they fixed that. The color was just all messed up, and it was bright but dull. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Yeah, it sounds like an HDR issue.
Yeah. So before we move on from the medium, I got 2 questions. One, Luke, what did you think of the voice acting? Because I freaking love it. All of it. All
It's
of the voice
fantastic.
acting is really, really good.
Really good.
Like, I've been very, very pleased with it. My second question, do I have to see Ma again?
Yes.
Because
Ma is creepy, especially the first time you meet him. But
well, the first time he's talking to you is so fun, man.
It all ends in me.
Yeah. I'm so happy to meet you. You're like,
Man,
oh my god.
I was texting Tyler when he was playing this, and I was like, "There's one part that's gonna make you jump real good." And then he did.
Dude, it scared the crap out of me.
You're not expecting it. There's one jump scare in the entire game, and I dang near pissed myself. They
do such a good job of disguising it too. Because like you do that a lot in the game. Like naturally, like what happens, you do it
every room.
Yep. You do, and so you do it and you do it and you do it, and you're like, oh, okay. So then like when it finally comes to that moment and you're like, oh no. Like it got me to like I like flinched up like I was ready to fight. Like I was like, oh, like kind of settled in a little bit. It's awesome. I'm really digging it. I'm off work on Friday, so I plan to finish it. Then I'm really looking forward to it. However, I'm going to be home alone, so I'll be kind of scared.
Oh. No, you'll be fine. If I can handle it, you'll be fine.
That's true. That's true.
Well, it's
but the other thing I did before we move on is I watched The Little Things, which we'll talk about later.
Cool. Well, I'm pretty excited about the medium. It's on my short list. Sadly, my Xbox is getting shipped to Microsoft for some repairs. My mechanical clanking every time I turn on is getting worse. So I figured I'd just get it done with and ship it off.
Oh man, you're gonna miss the start of season 8.
I've still got my One X upstairs.
And season 13.
So I can still play Apex and Destiny on that, but I just won't be able to play the medium because it is, as we mentioned, a next-gen exclusive.
Yep.